Hey, Scott. Dennis Martin. I'm from Londonderry, New Hampshire.
Thank you, Dennis.
By the way, if anybody doesn't know, Scott's a guitar player. And him and I have played together in the past. Anyway, Scott, two questions. What's going on with the TSA and my Coast Guard brothers, because you know I'm a Coast Guard veteran, and Semper Paratus, they're not getting paid. Do you think senators and congressmen should be getting paid? Why they're not getting paid? Second question, in the VA, veterans don't get dental care. Would you support a bill, putting a bill in for that too? Thank you.
Well, what's happening right now with the Democrats, and don't make any mistake about it, holding everything hostage because they can, sort of. Now, I have already been on record that I believe that the majority leader should hold everybody there 24/7. Don't let them go home. And certainly don't pay them. And certainly don't give them, like Delta. I think I'm going to fly in Delta from now on. Taking away that speed lane. Oh, sorry. Do you know who I am? Yeah, I'm John Kerry. No. I've seen him do that many times. So yes, of course, they shouldn't be paid. Of course, they should do their damn jobs. But the only way to get that done is to keep them there, because they're back, raising money. They're back on their social media. They're chirping and doing all these things, and they're not doing the people's business. They've had plenty of vacations. God, I wish I had vacations like that. But they don't. So that's number one. I hope that's pretty simple. Yes, on dental care, listen, I was hoping in President Trump's first term that I would be the head of the VA, but he went with Shulkin, and I thought it was a huge mistake, and he was gone within months. Because on the backlog, what's the biggest? Let's forget about the dental just for a second. The biggest challenge is the backlog of people making their claims. So as a former JAG, I served 39 years. I joined after the blizzard of '78. People dying on the highways. They had to bury them on the roofs because there's no mortuaries or no way to get them there. And then you had, I had a second lieutenant say, "Hey, PFC, get me a coffee." I said, "Get your own effing coffee. I'm not getting a. You want me to get you laundry too, sir?" And I said, "I have to be an officer." So I became an officer, and second lieutenant, infantry, airborne, all that fun stuff. And after I was jumping out of planes and doing crazy things, I said, I am a lawyer. I think I'll be a JAG. And I ended up being a JAG. And so what I said, and the reason I'm getting to this point, which I think is important, is that the backlog of our men and women who have served, who are hurting, and they need their care and coverages immediately, is being held up because they don't have enough people to do the servicing. Well, why don't we I had a plan, I made a presentation, get all the active duty, all the reserve and guard JAGs and retired JAGs, put them on temporary duty orders and get them to do the cases. Any retired judges, civilian judges, let's train them for 2 weeks and get them to do that so we can process those and get them done. And I want to give every man and woman who has served our country every single penny, every single benefit that they can get. And if you don't know by now, periodontal care leads to so many other issues, blood issues, heart issues, you name it. So yes, I would absolutely support that. I know it was a roundabout way to get it, but yes.